extra confusing. So let me explain to you how the government defines who among us is Indian, and in fact, what kind of Indian we are. Now, years and years and years ago, my grandma grew up on the res, daughter of the chief, very traditional Mi'kmaq woman. Then she fell in love with a white boy. She made the mistake of marrying that white boy. And when she married the white boy, the government said, "Lady, you're not an Indian anymore. You gotta get off the res." So she got off the res and she moved into town with him. But he was a logger, which meant he was in the woods all the time. And grandma, like me, needs a rub and a tug more than once a month. So lo and behold, while he's in the woods, my father came out looking remarkably like her friend from the res. And then his younger brother came out looking like the guy next door. So, exit white man from the States. Okay, he's gone. So when he's gone, the bank says to her, "Well, listen, you're an Indian woman with a bunch of kids. You can't be living in this house. You gotta get out." So she says, "Okay, I'll go back to the res." But the res says, "No, man, you married a white man. That's like chlamydia. You don't get rid of that shit. You gotta go somewhere else." So she put up a tar paper lean-to, and my daddy grew up a brown boy in a tar paper lean-to in the middle of the woods. Then when he was 17, the war broke out, and he heard that if he joined the military, they'd give him a toothbrush. Now, my daddy never had a toothbrush till that point, so he said, "I'm in." He signed up and he took off overseas to fight for democracy. Well, ironically, we still didn't have the right to vote back here at home. So he comes home, drinking a little too much, marries my mother, has a whack of kids, gets sober, has me, sends me to school. I get to school, somebody calls me half-breed. I went home, I said, "Daddy, what's half-breed? I don't understand. I thought I was native." He said, "Well, you're technically what the government calls a non-status Indian." Non? How did my identity start with non? He said, "Well, kid, you're an Indian, that's how it goes." Okay, I accepted that. Then he said, "Well, you know, actually there's a woman named Sandra Lovelace. She's tired of this. She went off to the UN. She filed suit against Canada." Oh, okay, cool. Now there's going to be some changes. So then all of a sudden, the government says to my grandma, who's now dead, "Yeah, sorry, lady, we messed up. Turns out you are an Indian, but not the same Indian you were born as. You're something we call a 6.1 Indian. Look that up in National Geographic." "Oh, okay, so what does that make Daddy?" "Daddy's a 6.2 Indian. Excellent, what am I?" "You're still nothing, kid." Fine. He said, "But what we're calling ourselves now is Aboriginal." I said, "Aboriginal? Like Australia?" "No, not like Australia. It's like a Canadian thing. Aboriginal." I said, "Well, what? No, I am original. I'm not ab-original. I am original. How can you put ab in front of me? How can you put ab in front of me? That's racist." But I thought, okay, I gotta figure this out. He said, "You're a Mi'kmaq from the Eastern Door." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to law school because I'm confused. I don't know what's happening." I got my ass off to law school. Then I found out there was some lady up in BC filing another lawsuit, a woman named MacGyver. Off I went, did my law school thing. My daddy passed away. We played the Mi'kmaq honor song for him. My brother said, "Mi'kmaq? How come it's Mi'kmaq, not Micmac?" I said, "Well, you know, that's the proper name for it. It turns out that a French priest translating from Mi'kmaq English, it doesn't work out so well." So, the MacGyver case makes it to the Supreme Court, and it turns out Daddy's not a 6.2, he's a 6.1 Indian. Well, how exciting. What does that make me? Well, that makes you a 6.2 Indian. Oh, great. But the government says, don't think you're going to be making any new Indians, because that stops with you. See, because it's just like the Bible, you know, at the beginning of the Bible when it says so-and-so begat so-and-so begat so-and-so? Well, it's like that in legislation. It's like, a 6.1 and a 6.1 equals a 6.1, but a 6.1 and a